Welcome to the Leading Second Podcast, a space to help church leaders thrive in the second chair. The Leading Second Podcast releases every Thursday morning, so subscribe and share this with your team. Now let's jump into another episode for all of us who lead from the middle.
Well, hello, Leading Second. Welcome back to Season 8 of the Leading Second podcast. My name is Brandon Stewart, and we are so excited and honored to have you in this space today. We've created Leading Second for all of us who lead from the middle. So if you lead on a church team in any capacity, welcome home. Welcome to our tribe. We're so glad you're here. And I also want to say a special hello to our Leading Second Plus community who now also have the full video version of the podcast as well. If today's conversation or any conversation on the podcast resonates with you, head to leadingsecond.com/podcast. And there you'll find episode guides that can be a resource to you and your team. And hey, today is a really big day for me personally and honestly for the whole Leading Second tribe. Today we are kicking off, I'm so nervous to talk about it, something I have prayed about, worked hard toward, carried in my heart for years, something people have asked me to do for years. Today I want to take you behind the scenes. I want to share with you what I've been working on. And yes, today we are officially announcing the pre-sale launch of our new book called Lead It Like You Own It. I'm so excited for this to be coming out early next year. And today is a bit of a family meeting, an all call for our tribe, if you will. I'm going to share with you a little bit about this project, the why behind this project, as well as how you can be a part of bringing it to life and, this exciting new chapter for Leading Second. We've been working with a publishing group for the writing process. And through that process, we are going to be self-producing the book. We will have the full backing and editing of a publisher, and yet we are owning the publication of it. So that means we need your support. And today I'm going to invite you behind the scenes and share with you how you can be a part of helping bring this project to life. So stick with me. We have a lot to talk about today. Before we get there, though, a bit of housekeeping regarding Leading Second and our resources. Today is actually the final episode for Season 8 of the Leading Second podcast. Surprise, we normally take this into late in the year, close to the holidays, but the podcast is actually going to go under construction after this episode. It's time for some renovations. It's time to look at things a fresh way. In fact, our entire resources arm of Leading Second is going to get a facelift and an upgrade over the next several months. I'm excited to announce today that this summer, we will be launching a second podcast for Leading Second, something Lindsay and I are really, really excited about, and we'll be sharing that more with you probably in the month of July. This podcast, our mainstay flagship Leading Second podcast, is going to be back in the fall with even stronger monthly episodes beginning this fall. And then Leading Second Plus, our app and site, our resource site, is going to continue to get an investment of time and resources and new courses. And then, of course, our book is out early next year with all of the accompanying materials. We see online courses and all of it for you and your team. So just a lot coming in the resources space, and it's time to begin the renovations, and that starts with Season 8 ending today. So it's an exciting time at Leading Second. Stick around, stay close to us, because we are working on some ways to equip you even more strategically in the second chair. So let's talk for a few minutes today on the subject of lead it like you own it. And before I share with you what you can do to be a part of the project, maybe I should share a little bit of the why. Let's talk first of all today about what makes someone a leader. Let's just answer that question. What actually makes someone a leader? Is it a title that makes someone a leader? Is it a paycheck that makes someone a leader? Is it their charisma, their stage presence? Is it having a lot of followers on Instagram? Is it good hair, good shoes on the I mean, what is it? What makes someone a leader? I think we could all be honest. We've all seen people chase those things. And most of the things I just mentioned can even be used for good and can be used in the life of a leader. But here's what I believe. It is truly a myth that any of those things alone makes someone a leader. Leadership truly isn't about where you sit on the org chart. Leadership is really about how you show up. Leadership is really about how you contribute right from your seat. And here's the tragedy in our world, and sadly, too often in the church, is that too many potential leaders miss their moment because they don't see themselves as one. Can you just think about that on your team? How many times, tribe, have we seen people just oozing leadership potential who never step into it? What makes someone a leader anyways? Maybe they're waiting for something. Maybe they're waiting for someone to ask rather than taking initiative. I don't know. But I have assessed over the last 13 years of traveling North America and observing the church, I have assessed that the greatest need in the church today is for leaders who lead with a spirit of ownership from anywhere on the team, from their seat. That's what this book and this project is about. That's what Lindsay and I have given our lives to. That's what we're launching today with Lead It Like You Own It. Let's talk about the current state of our world and the current state of the church. Let's be honest, ownership seems to be on the decline everywhere. We live in an age of opting out right now, it seems. Quiet quitting is normalized. A strong work ethic is no longer something that is universally admired like it used to be. Doing the bare minimum is kind of becoming the new standard. I think the self-care thing has bled into this. And sadly, it's not just out there in the world. Sadly, it's showing up in the church too. Serving has become soft and optional. I'm looking at you, Planning Center decline button. Come on, somebody. You know what I'm talking about. Alignment feels negotiable on personal terms right now. Ministry tragically too often becomes transactional right now. You know, from your local coffee shop to church teams everywhere, it's that spark to serve, the care, the initiative, the extra mile spirit. We had a question come in recently at an event. It was asking about, you know, what if someone asks me to go too far in ministry? You know, it asks you to give more than maybe you've agreed to give or whatnot. And it was just an interesting thought to me because, you know, I think certainly each of us are entitled to have a yes in our heart. You know, the word says each should give what they've decided in their heart to give. So I think each of us are entitled to kind of determine what our yes is. This wouldn't be speaking against that, but man, too many people are living guarded in my assessment right now. And this person was kind of asking, like, what if a leader asks me to go too far? And it just hit me in the moment. It hit me. It's not our pastors that ask us to have an extra mile spirit. It's Jesus who asks us to have an extra mile spirit. It's Jesus who asks us to go further and sacrifice. I don't see comfort in the gospel. I don't see personal opinion and guardedness in the gospel. I see the giving of a life in the gospel. So I just think we got to talk about this tension because, quite frankly, God's house deserves better than the current cultural conversation. Would you agree with me? God's house deserves better. The health of our teams, the salvation of our communities, it all depends on leaders who lead with conviction, clarity, and I believe ultimately ownership. Ownership is the difference maker. Ownership is what turns followers into leaders. Ownership is what elevates teams. Ownership is what breathes life into culture. Ownership is what builds churches who last and go the distance. That's why we're bringing this project to life. We wrote Lead It Like You Own It because, well, first of all, for me, because of a lifetime in church. Lifetime in essentially mostly one church my whole life. A lifetime under visionary, strong leaders. A life lived in the second chair, living from the middle. I've seen firsthand in my own life what going all in and leading with an ownership shift can do to you. I've seen what happens when people stop renting their role and start owning the mission. It changes everything. It changes how you lead. It changes how you show up. It changes the entire culture of the team. You know, it gives dignity to the second chair because we don't have to seek a title anymore. We don't have to strive. We don't have to compete. We just have to own right where we're at. Simon Sinek, we use this term in the book. Simon Sinek uses the term called pockets of greatness. I just love this idea that no matter where you're at in the org chart on the team, you can create a pocket of greatness right where you're at. You may not be able to change certain things you don't like. You may not be able to speak to the overall vision of the church. None of that matters. Right where you're at, no matter how small the field is, so to speak, that's in your care, you can create a pocket of greatness right where you're at. I know for me, somewhere along the way, God just got a hold of me with the conviction that second chair is not second class. And I think God asked me to go all in to be a second chair leader the rest of my life, to spend the rest of my life holding up the arms of pastors. I think as I was writing the book, one thing that was impacting to me was to realize, first of all, how many times I got it wrong, how many times I missed the mark. I share some stories in the book about one time when I was asked to give up my office for a new collaborative workspace. It seems so small, but it bothered me, and I share a little bit about a response there. I've definitely gotten it wrong. But then there's also moments where, with God's help, I got it right. The most interesting story is where I, right at the beginning of the book, where I tell the story about how I lost my job at the church due to some financial circumstances. And it was the moment where I had to decide if I was all in or not, if I was going to own the current moment with my pastor. Church was going through something tough. And what made it so interesting to me was that my pastor actually released me to go because I had done nothing wrong. I had not disqualified myself in ministry. And he actually said, if there's a church that will hire you, I release you to go. I just felt in that moment that there was something I was supposed to own. My pastor was going through something tough. Was this really my moment to go out and find another job? I'm not faulting someone else that would have made a different decision. I just knew for me, I was supposed to own it with him. And I did. And that decision just breathed life into my life. So I think that there's some stories we can work through here that will breathe life into your own calling and stir up the gift on the inside of you and ignite an ownership spirit on the inside of you. You know, leadership is not a ladder you climb. It's a spirit you carry. When you carry the spirit of an owner, everything changes. You don't wait for permission. You lead with initiative. You don't protect your turf. You know, you carry the mission. You don't ask, is this my job? Or that's not my job. It's not my responsibility. You just ask, how can I help? How can I serve? How can I show up? It's the shift from consumer to renter to manager to owner. We talk about that in the book. And it's a shift I believe we all need to make. Every single emerging leader on our teams needs to make. So here's the invitation I want to extend to all of us today. I want to invite you boldly, if leading second has meant something to you, if you are a part of our tribe, if our voice has helped you in some way, I'm now asking for your help. I'm asking you to consider how you can be involved in bringing this project to life. So a little bit of context, we are working with a publishing group that's been absolutely brilliant to work with, and I'll share more about that in a minute. The book has received a complete edit and marketing treatment, and they're going to see us through to the end. It's been a great program. However, we have the opportunity to own the publishing side of things. We have an opportunity to fund the creation of it and therefore own all of our intellectual property and own all of the financial benefit that will come from the resource that goes to the ministry. By the way, I'm the author, but this book has been produced by the ministry, and all proceeds and benefits go back to fueling the mission of Leading Second, not to my starving kids at home, so to speak. So to do that, we need to raise some capital. We need to raise some funds to fund this project. For us to produce the ebook, the written book, and the audio book will be about $15,000. And so today on our pre-sale, we're inviting you to participate in that process. We're inviting you to choose one of the packages that we're offering to financially contribute to the creation and publication of this resource that will help bring it to life. And then in turn, we have some things there to sow back into your life as a result. The pre-sale is going to be your vote and your ability to tell us, I want to see this project succeed. Now, if we exceed our goal and we go, it's not a huge goal. If we go beyond the goal, it will actually enable us to do more. It will enable us to consider additional acts of generosity. I'm just going to throw it out there, additional languages, additional ways that we can move this resource further. So your stretch, your sacrifice, your contribution will make a big difference to us. You can head to the link in our bio on Instagram or wherever we're posting it and participate in the pre-sale. Here's 3 things I want to ask you to do today. Number 1, I do want to ask you to pray, because this project needs the touch of God on it. This project needs the breath of the Holy Spirit. What's so interesting is that as someone opens a book or listens to an audiobook or leans into the material, it's just amazing how the presence of God can fill their room, can fill that automobile, can fill that those AirPods, wherever they're consuming this. And people can experience a true shift and a true change in their life, all backed by prayer of our tribe. So I just want to ask you to pray for this project. Number 2, I want to boldly ask you to participate, to stretch yourself and help us to bring this to life financially. And number 3, I want to ask you to promote it. Would you share this with your team? Would you share it with your pastor? There are some team-wide ways for you to be involved in the pre-sale, as well as other ministry friends you might have at other churches in your community or around the nation. And as you'll see on the pre-sale, there's some exclusive benefits that you'll get as a result to participating in this part of the process. You know, what could happen in churches, Leading Second? What could happen in teams? What could happen in cities if leadership teams experienced an ownership shift? If every leader showed up to lead it like they own it? If every leader carried the weight of ministry effectively? If calling was ignited? If churches were built that last? What could happen? I'm so excited about Lead it like you own it. I believe it's going to be a powerful resource, and we invite you to participate in it with us today, a part of this pre-sale. It all ends in early July, so jump on it now, and we would love and value your support. I'll end with this today, a little bit of BTS on the writing and publishing side. A friend of mine who's a part of our Leading Second tribe was working on a book through this publishing group, and he got me started thinking about it last fall. As you do, I'd been kicking this down the road for years to write a book, but I just felt the nudge that it was time, that it was the right time for the ministry to do this. And so I launched in, I got signed on with this publishing group. I met with the CEO, got the green light to start with the book concept. Worked on it over the holidays, kind of getting it. The first phase was called positioning. So getting the positioning of the book and the resource down. And then as we launched into the beginning of 2025, just the roller coaster began. And, you know, the enemy can't defeat us, but he can disrupt things sometimes. And every manner of thing has come against us as we've been working on this project. It's been the wildest year. I mean, first of all, ministry has just been awesome this year and just been great. I mean, ministry has been strong, Leading Second's growing, coaching's growing. Team Church One Days that we participated in were just brilliant this year. I mean, it's just been an awesome start to the year. But then at the beginning of the year, at the end of January, my dad died. And just that crushing blow of walking through that. I know this is small, but it looks like my family got the flu 2 weeks later. I think February was our crucible. We were preparing to bury my dad. I had the flu, and I had book writing deadlines due every week. I remember laying on the couch writing one day, just going, this is the pits. This is the actual pits of life right now. But I just knew we were supposed to, and we powered through. Thankfully, I get to go back and rewrite some of that stuff here in the next rounds, which will be good because I'm sure it's not really good yet. But with the help of actually a Christian developmental editor, which is a wonderful woman that I got to work with, I got it done. I got about 37,000 words down, and really excited about how we crafted it, how we put it together. We're launching the pre-sale now, and then in the coming months, I will move into a critical time called revisions, where we will revise what has been written so far this year. That'll be a very, very crucial step for a few months this summer and this fall. Then we will go into copy editing and technical editing. And then, Lord willing, if all stays on track, the book is out in late winter, in early 2026. And we're just so excited to bring this to life. So there's a lot of heart in this. There's a lot of sweat equity in this, a lot of early mornings. You know, it was so funny. I would get up like at 4 and 5 in the morning to go write, before my family was up, before ministry started for the day, because this whole time we're just full on doing full ministry as well. And the only place that's open that time of morning was our local Starbucks. Not exactly, sorry, Starbucks, I'm a former barista, but not exactly the place of highest ownership right now, if we're all honest. And it was just really interesting. I would sit there considering and writing ownership topics, just observing the culture and watching it. And I'll leave my comments for later some other time, but it was such a stark difference. I was just realizing, man, we need more ownership. We need more ownership. And now I just feel like I see it everywhere, of course. When you buy a new car, now everybody drives it. You see it everywhere. And that's how I'm seeing ownership. And anyways, I'll close this down today, friends. I've gone on a little bit here at the end just to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, but join us in prayer. We're going to be working hard the next few months to get this over the line and create a resource that you can use in your church, that you can use with your teams, that will hopefully make its way around the world to build a greater sense of ownership, a spirit of ownership in the life of God's people and church leaders everywhere. So Leading Second, we love you. I am officially signing off on season 8 of the Leading Second podcast. We're going under construction. We have some new things coming, some exciting things coming the next right about 6-7 months. I pray you'll stay with us. I pray that you'll stay close, and that I hope today's conversation has helped you and inspired you for all that is to come with Leading Second. We love you. Until next time, let's run strong for the kingdom and lead in an uncommon way together. God bless you, Leading Second.
It is our honor to serve churches and leaders across the globe. We equip ministry leaders with the coaching, events, and resources needed to embrace their calling, get it right with their pastor, and lead in an uncommon way. Visit our website, leadingsecond.com, to learn how we can come alongside you as you lead from the middle. From the second chair, for the second chair.